You might think of 9 to 5 as just a feel-good workplace comedy with a catchy Dolly Parton song, but beneath the laughs and the hijinks, this film did something radical. It called out workplace inequality before most people even had the words for it. It took sexism, low pay, and power-hungry bosses and made them the joke, not the norm. So how did a 1980 comedy manage to be so ahead of its time, and why does it still feel so relevant today? I'm Olive from Ladies First, and today we're unpacking how 9 to 5 turned comedy into one of feminism's sharpest weapons. But first, let's rewind to the 70s. Women made up over 40% of the US workforce, yet they were underpaid, overlooked, and unprotected. They earned less than 60 cents to a man's dollar, were passed over for promotions in favor of less qualified men, and when they faced sexual harassment, there were no laws to protect them. They were secretaries, assistants, clerical workers. 1 in 3 working women held these jobs, and they were treated as disposable. So what did they do? They organized. A group of women in Boston launched 9 to 5, the National Association of Working Women, fighting for equal pay, workplace dignity, and protections against harassment. Their movement was growing, but Hollywood wasn't paying attention. Until Jane Fonda stepped in. Yes, the actress, but also the activist. Fonda had been deeply involved in social movements when she learned about 9 to 5 from co-founder Karen Nussbaum. And she realized something. If she could bring these stories to Hollywood, she could make millions of people pay attention. So they went straight to the source, real-life office workers. After airing out their grievances, the women were asked, "If you could get revenge on your boss without getting caught, what would you do?" And their responses? Poison his coffee, shred him in a paper shredder, grind him up in the office coffee machine. The room exploded with laughter, and suddenly 9 to 5 had its hook. Those over-the-top revenge fantasies became some of the most iconic scenes in the film. And so, in the movie, what started as fantasy turned into an accidental hostage situation, giving 3 women the chance to reshape their office into a workplace utopia. Flexible hours, equal pay, on-site childcare. It was revolutionary for its time, and yet, it didn't feel impossible. To make this work, Fonda needed the perfect trio, each woman bringing something distinct to the table. Fonda chose to play Judy Bernley, the naive newcomer to the corporate world. Unlike her strong, outspoken public persona, Judy is timid, inexperienced, and hesitant, a woman forced into the workforce after a divorce. As producer, Fonda took on this less dominant role deliberately, allowing her co-stars to shine. Judy's character gave audiences a relatable entry point, mirroring the experiences of many women entering the workforce for the first time. By playing the new girl, Fonda made Judy's growth and empowerment central to the film's message. Fonda's first choice for Violet Newstead, the overqualified, underpromoted office veteran, was Lily Tomlin, a comedy legend known for Laugh-In and Nashville. But Tomlin wasn't convinced. She read an early script and said, "Not funny enough." So she walked away. But Fonda didn't give up. She had Colin Higgins rework the script, sharpening the humor. Eventually, Tomlin changed her mind, and the film wouldn't have been the same without her. Then came the wild card, Dolly Parton. By 1980, Dolly was already a megastar, but in country music, not film. She was a Grammy-winning singer-songwriter known for her warmth, wit, and hits like Jolene and I Will Always Love You. But she'd never acted before. Fonda was convinced she was perfect for Dorothy, the underestimated secretary enduring relentless harassment from her boss. So she made her an offer, but Dolly said no. Not because she wasn't interested, but because she had one condition. She would only do the movie if she could write and perform the theme song. And lucky for us, she got what she wanted, because Dolly gave us one of the most iconic movie anthems of all time. The song 9 to 5 went on to win 2 Grammys and became a rallying cry for working women everywhere. When 9 to 5 hit theaters in 1980, it was the second highest grossing film of the year, right behind The Empire Strikes Back. A female-led film wasn't just important, it was profitable. But its biggest impact wasn't at the box office, it was in real life. It popularized the term sexual harassment years before it was legally recognized in Meritor Savings Bank v. Vinson, 1986. It shined a light on pay inequality, fueling the fight for equal pay legislation, eventually leading to the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act of 2009. And like they hoped for, the movie amplified the efforts of the 9 to 5 movement. And for millions of women, it did something even bigger. It validated their frustrations. It showed them they weren't alone. And yet, here we are. Even though 9 to 5 was ahead of its time, it is still painfully relevant. Women still earn less than men for the same work. Women still face workplace harassment, even after the rise of the Me Too movement. And the Equal Rights Amendment, the constitutional guarantee of gender equality that the film championed, has still not been fully implemented. And here's the most frustrating part. At the current pace, the World Economic Forum reports that it will take 134 years to achieve full equality between men and women in areas like economics, politics, and leadership. That means we won't see true pay equality in our lifetime, unless we change that. So what do we do now? We keep going. We don't treat 9 to 5 as a time capsule, we treat it as a rallying cry. We remember the women who fought before us. We fight for those who come after us. And when we feel like giving up, we turn up Dolly Parton's song and we keep fighting anyway. Because 9 to 5 didn't just show us the problem, it showed us how to fight back with humor, with solidarity, and with an unapologetic demand for better. Comedy can be a weapon, but real change? That only happens when we wield it together. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. And for more fresh takes on female films, don't forget to subscribe to Ladies First.